What happens when America's sweetheart meets her breaking point on live television? What we're about to witness is one of the most shocking moments in daytime TV history, where Kelly Clarkson, known for her bubbly personality and infectious laugh, completely loses it on Craig Melvin during what was supposed to be a routine interview segment. This isn't your typical celebrity meltdown. This is raw, unfiltered emotion that nobody saw coming. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you think really pushed Kelly over the edge. The morning started like any other at the Today Show studios. Kelly Clarkson had arrived early for what everyone believed would be a standard promotional interview for her latest album. She'd done hundreds of these before, always bringing her signature warmth and down-to-earth humor. Staff greeted her with smiles. There was coffee, casual chatter, and the low hum of a studio waking up for another broadcast day. Craig Melvin, known for his calm, thoughtful interviewing style, had prepared what he believed were engaging questions. He expected an easy segment filled with laughs, stories, and a few sound bites about new music. When the cameras rolled and the familiar theme music faded, everything appeared normal. "Kelly, it's always such a pleasure to have you here. You look absolutely radiant today." She smiled politely. "Thank you, Craig. It's good to be here." At first, it was business as usual. Questions about music, tour plans, life on the road. But something felt off. Kelly's energy wasn't what viewers were used to. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. There was a tightness in her voice, like she was holding something back. Then Craig shifted gears. "Now, Kelly, I have to ask about something that's been making headlines. There are reports about your management team making some big changes. Some sources are suggesting things might be tense behind the scenes. Can you tell us what's really going on?" Kelly paused, just a second too long. "I think there might be some confusion," she said carefully. "My team and I are doing great, and I prefer to focus on the music today." Her tone was polite, but firm. Craig nodded, then pressed. "I understand, but these reports are coming from reliable sources. They're saying there were arguments about creative control and that you've been difficult to work with lately. Is there any truth to that?" The word difficult landed like a slap. Kelly blinked, then sat up straighter. "Difficult," she repeated quietly. And in that moment, viewers could see it. Something had changed. "Craig, you might want to check your sources on that," Kelly said, forcing a calm smile. "I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've never had problems working with people who show mutual respect." Craig didn't back off. "But these aren't gossip blogs. Insiders are saying you've been demanding, that people have quit recently because they couldn't work with you anymore." The studio went still. Kelly's hands tightened around the arms of her chair. Her jaw set. When she finally spoke, her voice was low and controlled, almost too controlled. "I need you to stop right there. I came here to talk about my music, not to defend myself against unnamed sources spreading rumors about my character." Craig shifted in his seat, uncomfortable but persistent. "Our viewers just want to understand what's really happening." That was when it cracked. "You want answers?" Kelly said, her voice rising. "Here's an answer. The people you're quoting are the same people who tried to control every part of my career from the beginning. The same ones who told me I was too loud, too emotional, or too much of something." Craig tried to interject. Kelly didn't let him. "And now, because I finally have the courage to stand up for myself, suddenly I'm difficult." The tension was thick enough to feel through the screen. Crew members froze. Cameras stayed locked in on her face, capturing every flicker of emotion. Craig attempted to regain control. "I think maybe you're overreacting a little." The word overreacting flipped a switch. Kelly leaned forward. "Overreacting," she repeated slowly. "Overreacting would be walking off this set right now and never coming back. What I'm doing is explaining how harmful this tired narrative is." Craig sighed. "These stories exist whether we talk about them or not. Isn't it better to address them directly than get defensive?" Kelly laughed sharply. "You ambush me on live TV with gossip, and when I defend myself, I'm the problem? Do you hear yourself right now?" Producers whispered urgently in his earpiece. Kelly stood up. "A tough question would be about my songwriting. What this is? It's gossip." Craig tried to calm her. "Kelly, please sit down." "Productive?" She cut in. "You want productive? Let me be productive." She met the camera head on. "Yes, I changed my team. Yes, I had disagreements. Because for the first time, I had the power to say no. And apparently, that makes me difficult." Craig looked trapped. He was no longer guiding the interview. He was surviving it. Kelly took a breath, but her voice was still blazing. You brought me here pretending you wanted to talk about music. Instead, you blindsided me with rumors because drama gets ratings. Craig flushed. That's not fair. We wanted to give you a chance to tell your side. My side? She snapped. My side is I've sold millions of records. I've worked myself raw for this career. And you reduce all of that to anonymous gossip. She paced beside her chair. You don't celebrate success. You tear it down. Craig tried again. Why don't we reset and talk about the album? Kelly picked up her purse. No, I'm not resetting this. I'm finishing it. She turned toward the main camera. I want people watching at home to understand what this looks like. A woman defends herself. And suddenly she's emotional. Defensive. Too much. Back to Craig. You want to know what's really difficult? Sitting here while someone tries to destroy your reputation with lies. Craig's voice cracked. Kelly, let's just breathe. Don't tell me to breathe. Silence swallowed the studio. Then, quietly, I'm done being polite. I'm done pretending this is okay. Craig muttered. Maybe we should wrap this up. Oh, we're wrapping it up, she said. Just not on your terms. She walked toward the exit. You know what the real story is? A woman stood up for herself. Craig called after her. Kelly, please don't leave like this. She stopped and turned. Like what? With dignity. Her eyes flashed. I actually respected you. I thought you were different. That landed harder than any shout. Craig looked crushed. Kelly, I'm not listening to excuses, she cut him off. I'm done. She continued toward the door. Congratulations, she said without looking back. You got your moment. The studio felt empty long before she even reached the exit. Heels echoed. Cameras rolled. No one moved. And when she disappeared from view, there was only Craig Melvin sitting alone in silence, staring at an empty chair where a conversation had turned into something far more powerful than anyone expected. The broadcast eventually cut to commercial, but the damage was already done. Clips spread online within minutes. Social media exploded. You could refresh your screen and watch the reactions multiply in real time. Some people were stunned. Some were furious. Some applauded her courage. By lunchtime, that interview was everywhere. Headlines called it a meltdown. Others called it a moment of truth. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. One side said she went too far. The other said she finally said what so many women wish they could say. Hours later, neither Kelly nor the network released a statement. The silence made the moment louder. Insiders whispered about producers being furious. Some claimed the questions had been approved. Others said Kelly had no idea what was coming. Everyone had a version. No one had proof. But viewers had something else. They had the footage. They watched a woman go from polite guest to unfiltered survivor in the span of minutes. They saw frustration boil over, not from one question, but from a lifetime of them. Kelly didn't cry. She didn't freeze. She stood her ground. And that made some people uncomfortable. Because anger looks different when it doesn't belong to a villain. When it belongs to someone labeled kind, soft, or easygoing. For years, she'd been America's sweetheart. That morning, she chose to be something else. Herself. And maybe that's why it shook people. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't controlled. It wasn't pretty. But it was honest. Days later, fans still dissected every word. Every look. Every pause. She never publicly apologized. And many believed she shouldn't have. Whether you see it as a breakdown or a breakthrough, one thing is certain. Nobody forgot it. Because that wasn't just an interview that went wrong. It was a moment when the script fell apart. When the smiles cracked. When someone stopped playing the role they were given and spoke from a place that doesn't care about good TV. And maybe that's the reason the moment still sticks. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. So the question remains. What do you think pushed her to that edge? Was it one question too many? Or a lifetime of them? And if you were sitting in that chair, what would you have done?